you lose. Wendy, it's devastating when you're a player in that moment because
What's up, guys? I know this is uncharacteristic for me, but A, it's super late, but B, I usually don't do football, but this was about as insane a football weekend as I can remember, and I, for the life of me, still don't understand why Buffalo didn't squib it with 13 seconds left. Probably takes about 10 to 3. There's 13 seconds left, so squib it. It's in the field of play. Probably takes about 4 seconds off the clock. 9 seconds. 3 timeouts. Yeah, that one's gonna hurt for a while, and you saw Tre'Davious White being absent did not help the Bills today. I mean, 25 points in the last 2 minutes was just ridiculous. Plus the overtime, which obviously the overtime kind of stinks, given that it's basically on a coin flip. You never want a game like that to end on a coin flip, but I don't know exactly how you fix it, because if you do the college rules, they might have just played tennis for 5 more hours, and that would have been fine with me going back and forth. But I'm just stunned at how open everybody got at the end of the game. Gabriel Davis, I know there was some slips, and Tyrann Mathieu being out for Kansas City did not help. Obviously, friendly fire early on. I just, as much, I wanted the Bills to win so bad because I have family that lives in Buffalo and are diehard Buffaloes, and Josh Allen played a perfect postseason, but still lost because their team couldn't get one stop. But I mean, they were dog tired, both defenses. If you squib it, I think you win it there. I do. 42-36. And for Butker, a former Carolina Panther, he was in our camp. We chose Gano instead of Butker. He's made so many kicks. Yes, he missed a 50-yarder going into half, and then an extra point, but he was able to step up and knock that one through 49 yards. All the games have ended on kicks, and Evan McPherson from Cincinnati is a dog, calling his own shot like Babe Ruth, and Joe Cool calling that it was going to be a win before he even kicked it. So there's the confidence there. But I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a football game with so many dynamic players, and it all mattered. And Josh Allen played a perfect postseason and still lost. I thought the Bills and the Chiefs got too cute on a few things. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter rather. I think it was the 3rd and 1. And they decided to hand it to McKenzie instead of using Singletary, who'd come on big time late. Had a touchdown today. And the Chiefs were able to snuff it out, and 4th and 1 on your own 34. Even McDermott couldn't justify that, where the game was at that point. And then Kansas City doing the Travis Kelce option pitch, and that was fabulous defense by Buffalo. But 3rd and 1, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Jerick McKinnon, you got all those weapons. I think you got to put in Patrick Mahomes' hands. Obviously, as we saw in the late fourth quarter and overtime, and like the last 2 minutes were a full game in itself. But God, nobody really deserved to lose that game. I mean, defensively, it wasn't the prettiest thing I've ever seen, but the ultimate tennis match that will go down as one that I don't think you can understand unless you watched it all. Tyreek Hill is a blur. Travis Kelce on that 3rd and 10 to be able to get there and get that conversion, and I mean, that was just flawless clock management by Kansas City at the end, and just absolutely fabulous. And then the game before, Brady finally couldn't come back from a 27-3 deficit. The Rams tried everything they possibly could to lose that game. 4 fumbles lost, 1 at the 1-yard line, going in to make it possibly 30-3 going into half. That didn't happen. And then one after the strip sack, miscommunication after the strip sack by Von Miller, 27-13 with about 4:40 to go, I believe. Then the fumble there on the miscommunication by the center, snapped it before yeah, they should have. You could have also dropped 11 guys, but I also think if you squib it, you got a better chance there because there's only 9 seconds with 3 timeouts. That's even tough for Mahomes. But yeah, you could have dropped 11 and made them do a Dak Prescott QB run and see what happens there too. So that's one of those. But Brady, and then they were able to get a touchdown, stop again with about 4:07 left, and then no timeouts. Goal ball to Mike Evans on Jalen Ramsey, and Ramsey got burnt like toast. So 27-20, and then the 4th and inches on Cameron Brate after the second Cam Akers fumble. About 2:25 left, 4th and less than 1. They go playoff Leonard Fournette scored 27-27 with about 38 seconds left, and Matthew Stafford tried the Dak Prescott run up the middle, almost fumbled, very, very close, and then 2 dimes to the best wide receiver in the NFL, Cooper Kupp, or one of the best. I think he's the best, the Triple Crown winner. And if he doesn't win or is in the top 5 of MVP, I don't know who's voting, but they're voting wrong. Because that was just big time. He had fumbled earlier in the game to give the Tampa some breath of hope. On those fumbles, there were really good plays by Winfield Jr. and Lavonte David and Ndamukong Suh, but you got to be stronger with the football with leads like that against Tom Brady. But I do appreciate that they didn't lay down on the ball and just give Brady overtime, because the coin flip is what decides overtime games right now in the NFL, which isn't really fair, but it is what it is. There was just so much good and bad at the same time in the playoffs. The Packers should not have been in that close of a game. They drove down the field on the first drive, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and then D'Amico Ryans and the 49ers defense woke up. They got a fumble on Mercedes Lewis. They were driving that one too, stunted that drive, and then the weather and the pressure of the D-line with Bosa and Warner back really wreaked havoc on the Packers O-line that had been shuffled with guys coming back from injury and such. And I don't think that the Packers necessarily adjusted. I thought they should have done some more quick screens, quick stuff to get the ball out of Rodgers' hands quickly, because I don't think I've ever seen him sack that much. But obviously, special teams was the reason that they lost. With the blocked field goal at the end of the half, that would have made it 10-0, and that would have felt like a hard, high mountain to climb for San Francisco, because every time Jimmy Garoppolo drops back to pass, I shut my eyes and then look, because it's pretty ugly right now. But all that matters is he's getting excuse me, getting W's and making things happen for the 49ers. And I tip my cap to Kyle Shanahan, running no matter what and using Deebo Samuel the way he does is pure artistry. And really, Elijah Mitchell was the ultimate steal, 6th round of Ohio State. And I just think Kyle Shanahan is a genius in offensive schematics, and he did that so well. And the ball still around on 3rd and 7. And they weren't in field goal range, and for Deebo to get that first down was awesome. But if you're Green Bay, you're up 10. What do you have? 10-3, 4:45 left, and Matt LaFleur says, "I hope our special teams just doesn't screw it up." And sure enough, they did, with the block field goal, 39 yards in the first half. And then 4:45 to go. You just got to get that ball out. I don't care if you shank it and it starts at the 10-yard line. You still have to get that ball out. And that was gross blocking. Not that the Packers should have been in this situation, because the 49ers had like negative 14 yards through the first quarter, and yet the Packers couldn't step on their neck and just add points, score. So you got to give credit to the 49ers and D'Amico Ryans being able to settle in the ball game. I think the weather definitely had a big effect, because you don't see George Kittle and those guys dropping passes that are right to them and things of that nature. But you kind of quiver when Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback, or one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he only has one Super Bowl appearance. It's kind of weird and maddening. And this year is because of special teams, and I don't understand why Matt LaFleur didn't pull the trigger and say, "Hey, this is a bottom 4 unit in the league." I think they were ranked last in the league, and for a coach to not pull that trigger and try something different, maybe it couldn't have been fixed. Maybe it couldn't have been fixed. I don't know, but a new voice might have helped. And of course, it was fundamental things. But that's just my sense on that. And then not having 10 men on the field goal block to eventually in your season, it's a little off too. And yes, prevent defenses prevent you from winning games. Yes, it does. I've seen it way too many times with the Panthers. I've seen it way too many times this year, and so I mean, but this, and then you've got the Cincinnati Bengals not winning since 1990, winning at Tennessee, Derrick Henry coming back You thought it was a perfect script for Tennessee, but I think they were trying to bite off too much. I don't know what they were doing. It was tied 16-16 with about, I don't know what it was, a minute 30, and they just kind of didn't have a sense of urgency of what they really wanted to do. I thought they were just content for it to go into overtime. But then Ryan Tannehill throwing his third interception and of the day, and the first pass and of the first half, and then the first pass of the third quarter, and then that one with 28 seconds to basically seal the fate. McPherson had an epic day. I think he made from 54 and 52 to sink the Titans' hopes. But the second turnover came off after a Deontay Foreman long run, and Mike Hilton was able to chase him down to prevent the touchdown, and then the next play get the pick. It was absolutely incredible. And again, the way Zach Taylor and company used Jamar Chase, kind of like Deebo Samuel in San Francisco, I'm really jealous of it because I just like the creativity and putting the ball in your best player's hands and living with the results. And I think that's what we saw today. And this weekend overall, it was absolutely insane. I said way too many cuss words, especially for the fact that none of these teams are actually my team. But it was just so wild. So many tennis match back and forth, twists and turns, and the emotions of it, and for the most part, kickers being able to come through, because you always see the kicker problem thing. No, the kickers are heroes. Special teams does win ball games, and that is as Pat McAfee says, that's an epic day for the brand, epic weekend for the brand, except for Matt Gay stubbing a 47-yard field goal and coming up short. I don't know how that happens, but he must have chunked it, got some extra dirt, so that prevented it from becoming a 3-score game. So that was another point for Brady. I honestly thought that Tampa might go for 2. Just all the momentum, and obviously going for 2 analytics, all that stuff. And maybe that wasn't, obviously you want to take the tie, but extra points aren't a guarantee now. But I just thought with all the momentum, TB12. But again, they didn't have Godwin or many of their weapons. Rashad Perryman, Tyler Johnson in and out with injury. Well, I can't remember the other big one. Oh, Antonio Brown doing Antonio Brown things as well. So only Brady does that. Well, Mahomes and Allen too, to be honest. I think leaving any time on the clock for any player is a bad idea. Even Joe Burrow, what Joe Burrow did after picking himself up off the ground all day long. 9 sacks? He's the first quarterback to win a playoff game when being sacked 8 or more times since Donovan McNabb. And they've definitely got to get that fixed. And obviously, Kansas City and the Bengals have played before the season, an epic 31 34-31. Cincinnati win. A walk-off field goal at the buzzer. Obviously, Tyrann Mathieu health is going to be a big factor, and I think that Kansas City will heat it up a little more with the offensive line. But I have never seen a weekend of football like that, and it was so epic and so amazing. It was almost better for my health that the Panthers weren't in it, and we're not going to be in it for a while. But it still took like 15 years off my life, and in a good way, because I love sports and you can never tell. Finally, a home team won with Kansas City doing that magic. But I guarantee you, Sean McDermott will never kick it through the end zone with 13 seconds when Patrick Mahomes is on the other side. I just know it. And obviously, it's going to sting for a while because they had it like 4 or 5 times. Gabriel Davis had the game of his life, career, and everything. So that's one that is insane and needs to. Gabriel Davis coming up as huge as he did because they were able to limit Stephon Diggs pretty well, except on the 2-point conversion to give him a 3-point lead. So that was big. Dawson Knox didn't do too much either. So Josh Allen was epic, 9 touchdowns, 0 picks, and you lose. That's the greatness and agony of sports in one stat line. I think Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback, kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo. Ryan Tannehill can make more throws, and you're more confident, I think, with Ryan Tannehill, but he tried to bite off more than he could chew a lot. Just because you're going to guys like Chester Rogers was on one of the interceptions, and the one that got tipped in the air with 28 seconds left was not a well-known wide receiver, and I think he wasn't they were in between whether to go for the win or just play for overtime, and that really cost them. But Ryan Tannehill knows he's got to be smarter with the ball, but he's going to lose sleep over that one because you had so many chances, and I think you've got to go with your big horses in Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones. Even though he's been oft injured, he's got a pedigree. You've got to focus those guys, and even your tight ends. You've used them a lot this year, and they weren't the vocal points in the biggest moments, and I think that's what's kind of bit them. I know you're trying to trick Cincinnati, kind of going to lesser used and known guys in your offense, and sometimes that works, but sometimes you just got to go with what you know, and I don't think Tennessee did that well enough at all. And to kind of waste a defensive performance like that from your defense. I know they did give up 16 points, but held really nicely and in the red zone and forcing field goals and things of that nature. But Joe Burrow is it, and I was not happy when the Panthers weren't bad enough to draft him coming out of LSU, just because the amount of wow throws that we've seen from Joe Burrow in his short career, even at LSU. He's not afraid of any moment. He will play with do anything to help the team win. He, like everybody, but he just kind of picked himself off the mat every single time and was just like, okay, let's go. Let's do it. And he did that. Uzama's been a big target for him. Jamar Chase. T. Higgins had a big game. So, I mean, and again, the creativity with runs and things of that nature was epic to see. And again, I'm jealous of offenses that can sneeze and put up 30 points, because we sneeze, we hurt. We, as in the Panthers, we sneeze, we hurt ourselves trying to get 20 points, just because it's with our offensive line and things of that nature. But Joe Burrow was able to put the city of Cincinnati, the football team, and his offensive line on his back, and just literally, and just carry them to win. Even though I really thought that Tennessee was the weaker one seed with their offensive line back, Henry. Henry had a pretty solid game, had a touchdown, and all of their weapons back. I thought they had a chance, but just way too many mistakes that you can't have in the playoffs. You can get away with maybe one turnover usually, but not three. And the Rams were able to get away with 4, but typically you don't. The Rams defense was able to stand up in the biggest moments, and that was really, really huge. But so much epicness, and the defensive performance was obviously the San Francisco 49ers holding Aaron Rodgers to zero touchdowns, and you could see that. I mean, Green Bay didn't have a second weapon that they could really rely on without Robert Tonyan, and they use Allen Lazard really good, but you could see that Aaron Rodgers didn't really trust it. So that's another thing, and losing A.J. Dillon and that two-headed monster with the back injury late in the I think early in the second quarter really didn't help him either. So, but I wanted to say I think that the Packers kind of missed some opportunities in drafting with that second option, because even the 49ers have George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell, and they have a three-headed monster, and Jawan Jennings, I think is his name, has been epic on third downs for Jimmy G, and so that was the big thing I noticed too in that game, because the Packers just could not separate themselves, and that's the most dangerous thing when you let a team stay in, and they were able to do it. And San Francisco's battle tested, going on the road and beating Dallas, and going in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field and doing that. There's just epic confidence, and the 49ers have beat the Rams 6 straight times. So you look at that matchup, and I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. There's going to be no secrets. I think that the Rams have an upper hand a little bit. Yeah, well, a couple of coverage busts will get you every time, Mark. You know that. And yeah, I didn't like you guys going basically cover 0 on the last one to Cooper. I don't know how you let him go back that, but I don't. That's just my opinion. But I don't know how you guys came. Well, I do know the Rams kind of let you guys back in it, but you guys took it by storm, and I honestly thought you might have gone for 2 to take the possibly take the lead, but I guess all that work you want to make sure that that you get a tie at least, and you needed one more stop from your defense, and you couldn't get it. The cover 0, I don't really like that because you leave guys on an island against Cooper Kupp, who's the best in the league. So that was a little iffy to me, but and they didn't really do cover 0 because the Rams blocked it up pretty well too. So very hard fought, but you didn't have a lot of your main weapons. And I'm not giving excuses because the Rams played a heck of a first half, and you probably shouldn't have been in that game, and you shouldn't have, but Brady is Brady, and you guys are relentless. So I kind of hope he retires just for the Panthers' sake, even though I don't think that's going to matter for a few years. But I think this is the craziest weekend of football I've ever witnessed, and it's not even close. It was so much fun to watch, and it was kind of easy to watch given I really didn't have dogs in the fight, except I did have family that lives in Buffalo and loves Buffalo. I don't know if this loss is worse than losing 4 straight Super Bowls. I'm not sure. I think they both rank, honestly, and it's hard to define. I was baffled at how wide open everybody was getting at the end of the game. I just was, and I was definitely going for Buffalo, but it just I don't know. I mean, 9 touchdowns. I've said it a couple times, but 9 touchdowns and 0 picks and 0 turnovers, and you still lose. I don't. That's kind of unexplainable, but it is what it is. Yeah, I can't really peg the Rams and 49ers because they played so much, and so again, there's not going to be any secrets. I think. Yeah, they did. I think the first 3 games came down to a kick with 4 seconds to go. So, yeah, it was the best weekend I've ever seen. Not even close. And I hope the Panthers are in the discussion soon, but it really doesn't seem like it with hiring Bob McAdoo. Obviously, I'll give him a shot, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, and obviously everybody's talking about the overtime rules, that it can't come down to a coin flip, but I don't know how you fix it. I really don't. But because if you do college rules, I feel like it'll just be a tennis match back and forth with guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady. I feel like it would go on forever, which would be fine with me, but dog-tired defenses, and you could see it at the end of the Buffalo Chief game, and I don't know. I just I don't know why my screen did that, but it's incredible, insane, unexplainable football unless you watched it. And if you're a Tampa fan or a Buffalo fan or Packer fan, although I think I would be the most sad and upset if I were a Packer fan, because there's no way that game should have been 7-0 at half. You should have at least had 10 points, probably 13 or 17. So I think that game, if I were a fan, I would be the most upset. Obviously, for Buffalo, you thought you won it 3 or 4 times, but I don't even know. Tre'Davious White being out was a epic reason. I think because I don't think Tre'Davious White would have allowed some of those. I don't, because he's an all-pro for a reason. But I could be wrong. But you've got to squib that with 13 seconds left. You've got to. I mean, but it is what it is. It really is. But yeah, crazy football. And hey, we're not going to have Brady or Rodgers for the first time in a conference championship for the first time in 12 years. So happy for new blood and amazing football, because we got it, and we got it in spades today. And I hope it happens this weekend too. But I feel like I'm exhausted from watching it, and I'm smiling because it was just so epic as a sports fan, and reasons. I don't know. It's kind of unexplainable, but sports are the greatest thing ever, because paper and odds and DraftKings and FanDuel and all that stuff doesn't matter really until you play it between the lines, and everybody that put on a uniform, cleats, the coaches, everybody laid it all out there, and it was epically entertaining. And after 3 blowouts in last weekend, it it felt amazing, to watch, and Kelsey doing Kelsey things, and I just wow, and epic atmospheres everywhere, and wow. I just keep saying wow, because there are so many ebbs and flows in every game. Like if you blinked in any of those games, you missed something epic and unexplainable and crazy. And Mark, do you think Brady will retire or not? I don't think he goes out that way, but he can go out on his own terms. I mean, he has 7 Super Bowl rings, and he didn't really lose that game. I know he had a pick, but early in the first half, and you really don't want to be trailing the Kansas City Chiefs in any of their postseasons, because they will come back and bite you so hard. And I think like 7, I don't know how many postseason wins they have, but all of them come back fashion, I think. Even the Super Bowl against San Francisco, they came back. So you really can't celebrate until there's 0.0.0 on the clock against the Chiefs or Bills or any of those guys. But
when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper.
Sports are sports are reality TV at its finest, because I've never seen and the taunting penalties, those are annoying. But Brady finally getting a unsportsmanlike conduct in his career was kind of funny, and Ndamukong Suh being mad that he got, because he didn't. Matthew Stafford kind of kicked him, and Ndamukong Suh saying something about that was a little funny and poetic given his history. But the Bills didn't turn the ball over this entire postseason and lost. Sports, the unexplainable beauty and agony at the same time.
We knew it was going to take a heck of an effort coming out here, and I thought the guys gave us that effort.
starting with Ash and all the way down the line. And, we got to obviously do some things better. But, those guys they're hurt. We're disappointed. We're all disappointed.
Yeah, I don't think a loss like the Buffalo suffered is gonna.
So
It's gonna last. It's gonna last forever, and every loss that you have in sports does, obviously. But
win that game. Everybody wants to win that game. There's only going to be one champion crowned at the end of the season. So that makes 31 unhappy teams. Hats off to it.
Yeah, I think the Buffalo Bills will want to boycott the Kansas City Chiefs of being in the AFC because the amount of heartbreak they've gave them the last couple of years. Ew. But oh gosh, I love sports. I love sports so much, and hopefully, baseball will be back at some point. But being the world champions and being able to watch this epic journey of incredible football and incredible games, and the Hornets being exciting tonight notwithstanding, I still have to do that recap. Not that I'm running to do it, but yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I recap the epicness of this football weekend, but I do think that the Packers will not have Aaron Rodgers next year because they'll be $50 million over the cap, and I think there will be a lot of changes to the Packers. And I guess Lambeau Field's not that big of an advantage because they're 0-0 last 4 there and 0-4 against the 49ers. And sometimes every team has a team that they can't beat no matter what. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what the roster. And for the Panthers, that's the Cardinals right now. For whatever reason, we can beat them no matter if the game's supposed to be close or we're supposed to get blown out or whatever the case. That's our team right now. And the Packers, for the Packers, it's the 49ers. And Robbie Gould being perfect in his postseason career, I believe 20 of 20. That's pretty epic because he's had some times this year where everybody thought he should retire. But he didn't. And now they're going to the NFC Championship again with a familiar opponent. So, I can't read that game. And I think the Chiefs and Bengals are probably going to be a shootout. It's going to depend on Tyrann Mathieu, in my opinion, and his health and whether he can clear concussion protocol, rather. Nick Bolton was fabulous. A great second round pick, kind of a sleeper pick. Again, there's a lot of sleepers in this postseason with Elijah Mitchell, the 6th rounder for San Fran, with Nick Bolton for Kansas City, with CJ Uzomah for Cincinnati. I believe he was a late rounder too. You like to see that, and you like to see, as a fan, or me as a fan, like to see just some under the radar, diamond in the rough kind of performances coming up big. And even for Gabriel Davis, 4 touchdowns, I think 170, and that's a record in itself. So
stop them with 13 seconds. You're right. I get that. But I don't know who other than Chiefs fans have a chance to see Allen.
So, I mean, a lot of those guys remind me of Tyler Matzik, and thankfully Tyler Matzik was on the Braves side for us to win the World Series. So maybe that'll give some solace to you, Mark Hubble, because you do have the championship from last year of Tampa Bay and this year. So I think it's incredible and amazing, and God, I love that I've covered it all in different ways, because trying to be able to put this in a video or words is kind of pointless, but to recap it in this way felt appropriate and amazing. So again, I love sports and will always love sports and what it brings, what it gives us, and the unpredictability is the greatest thing in the world. But I'm heartbroken for those fans that have lost, obviously, because I have a lot of Packer fans. Buffalo, obviously, I spoke about that. Tennessee, not so much. My brothers live there, or my brother lives there, but he's a Carolina Panther fan through and through, so that didn't really hurt him too bad. But yeah, I've been part of a lot of agony and celebration now, so I love the celebration portion of it, but it's the agony ones that stick to you. But I can tell you one thing, for the 49ers, don't leave Von Miller 101. I get cold sweats just thinking about that with us in Super Bowl 50. But I think the Rams are proving it was Super Bowl or bust for them anyway, because they don't have a first round pick for like the next 3 years. So at least they're walking the walk right now, and I'm really happy for Matthew Stafford to get that monkey off his back of being with the Rams and now, or the Lions, and not winning playoffs, and kind of bucking that narrative, so to speak, because I really like Stafford and what he stands for as a quarterback. And actually, I think the Panthers were very close to getting him, and that might have changed trajectories of many franchises, but we'll never know now. But this was an epic sports weekend on many fronts, and so great to see. But I think, again, I probably lost 10 or 15 years off my life watching these games, and probably the confessional plate, probably, I don't know, $100 with the stuff that I've yelled at the TV, just because it was unthinkable. But that's the love and amazingness of sports that I can't get enough of and will never get enough of. So that was insane. Just but yeah, just so happy. I'm gonna go do my Hornets recap, eat some nachos, and relive this incredibleness all night long. And kickers, you are people too, and this was an epic weekend for your brand. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This really helps the watch hours. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'm coming up on a huge milestone that I'm really excited to share with you guys, so I can't wait. But as always, go Braves. As always, Buzz City offline, go Hornets. And as always, keep pounding, go Panthers.
Championship game after the upset at Lambeau. First quarter, the Buccaneers are trailing 3-0.